muscle rose goes from limb to limb, fingertip to painted lip. She sways her way up to him, says, now that your wallet is all lit up, 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 you're gonna wanna wear it out. If you're looking for something lifelike, hit a sardine nightclub. If every surface you touch is cold, never go home. He says, I can't feel a thing, my dreams are so tight. Why wouldn't I stand in line tonight? Buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work.
Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James, and tonight we offer an apology for some minor, I wouldn't say minor, a fuck up. Let's call it that. We also might talk about other shit. That's how vague we are here. Other shit might happen. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is down there in the description box, and the website is in the intro to this video. That's right. Donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link is down there. It's for charity. It's not for us. We make $0 off of that. It's to help out one of our subscribers and his wife, to help pay for their medical bills. So please donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. Yes. Alright, so we made, I believe, one video, but several comments about the president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, which, you know, the things I've heard, I don't like what he's about too much. And one of the things we've brought up several times was, well, he only really won like 22%. Like, this other person would have won if they were running, but, you know, they were corrupt and got caught. So they weren't in the race.
Yeah, I assumed he was corrupt.
Yeah. And the person we're talking about is Lula da Silva, which, upon further research, may not be the corrupt asshole that we thought he was.
Oh, I just thought it was just another corrupt politician.
Yeah. But he may not be corrupt. Who the fuck knows? The point is, the evidence of just based on him going to jail meant he was corrupt was an incorrect notion. And Glenn Greenwald, who lives in Brazil, I believe, is going to correct us here. Take it away, Glenn.
Hey everyone, I'm Glenn Greenwald with The Intercept, and as you probably have heard, we published a series of articles this Sunday that have created what is, without exaggeration, a major political earthquake here in Brazil. And given the importance of these revelations, as well as the complexity of them, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the most critical aspects of our reporting the implications of the reporting and also what the future entails, given that the archive that we're using is one of the biggest archives in the history of journalism. So as many of you know, Brazil, which is the 5th largest country in the world, a country with massive oil reserves and with the single most important environmental resource for the planet's survival, which is the Amazon, is a country that has suffered enormous numbers of different kinds of crises, including political crises. In 2016, they impeached the twice elected president from the Workers' Party, the center-left party, Dilma Rousseff, and then last year in 2018, a figure who has been on the fringes of Brazilian politics for decades, the far-right Congressman Jair Bolsonaro, ascended to power, something which a year before or even 6 months before was unthinkable. So it's a country that is undergoing radical changes and that is of incredible importance far beyond its own borders. But by far the most important event that took place in Brazil was the imprisonment last year of former Brazilian President Lula da Silva. And the reason his imprisonment was so important wasn't just because he's a giant on the world stage in the democratic world. Even though he is that, he was elected as a former labor leader, as somebody who grew up in intense poverty, who was illiterate until the age of 10, who lost a finger working in a factory as a laborer, so the type of person who never wielded power in Brazil. He was twice elected overwhelmingly in 2002 and 2006, and then was term limited out of office in 2010 and left office with an 87% approval rating, unheard of in any country, any major country in the democratic world, because he lifted millions of people out of poverty, transformed Brazil fundamentally. And so just to put him in prison.
Sounds like a socialist to me. I don't know about you. Sounds like a straight up commie. I'm fixing this shit now. Yeah. Hopefully his microphone is working. All right, so
Yeah.
all right, let's continue. I want to hear more.
Prison without anything else is already an extraordinary event, but what made it so much more critical was that Lula had announced, and everybody knew, that he was intending to run for president again in 2018. And all polls showed that he was the overwhelming front runner. He was leading every other candidate, including Bolsonaro, by 10, 15, 20, 25 points. And so
another correction there would be, I believe we said the election results was whoever this person was would have won by 20, 30 points, whatever it was. But really that was the major poll in the country. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the actual elections would have ended up that way, to where Da Silva would have won by quite a bit.
when Lula was imprisoned, and then an appellate court very quickly affirmed that conviction with a strange speed in time to make him ineligible to run, it meant that they were removing from the election the political leader that Brazilians wanted to be their next president. So when you remove and bar and render ineligible one of the giants of political history of the 20th century and the person leading the presidential race, obviously that is an earth-shattering political action to take. And the reason Lula was imprisoned is because there has been this 5-year corruption probe that has been sweeping in nature. It has put billionaires and powerful politicians from multiple parties into prison, and it turned into heroes the team of prosecutors, including led by a young prosecutor in his 30s named Delton Dellengal, who used his celebrity to write a best-selling book, and especially the judge who oversaw most of the convictions, who became an international celebrity, Sergio Moro. He was named as part of the Time 100 most influential figures, and there was a huge 60 Minutes piece on him. They really became icons, heroes of the noble crusade to fight corruption. And here in Brazil, there was almost no journalistic questioning of them. They used the media. They would leak information all the time about whatever politicians whose reputation they wanted to destroy. They wielded immense power, and they put Lula in prison and removed him from the presidential race. And after a few years, people started questioning what their real motives were. Are they really apolitical, anti-corruption warriors who have no ideology other than fighting corruption and applying the law to everybody equally, which everyone agreed was a noble thing? Or were they really political operatives trying to do what Brazilians have been trying to do unsuccessfully since 2002, but were unable to do democratically, which is destroy the Workers' Party and bring the Brazilian right into power by exploiting and abusing the power of law?
It's funny how that always seems to happen.
There's no doubt.
If you remember, like the George Bush, Al Gore election in 2000, it's like all these weird things happen, then Bush happens to win. And it's like, look what he did with it. Now it's like, now you need a guy who will do these things in the Middle East.
Yeah.
As far as like the mainstream narrative, now we need someone who's tough like that.
Who's willing to take risks.
We create the problem, then we need a guy to fix it. It's like,
And there was no way to know which of those theories was correct because they operated entirely in the dark. They had almost no journalistic investigation. And the archive, the massive archive that our source provided to us, is the first look, the real look inside of the actions of Judge Moro and of the prosecutors who composed the task force that have put so many people into prison, including former President Lula da Silva. And what this archive unquestionably reveals, and even the most virulent and vocal defenders of Judge Moro and of the Lava Jato task force have admitted in the past 3 days since our reporting began, is that serious improprieties have been demonstrated on the part of both Judge Moro and the task force led by Devon. We published 3 articles in particularly that demonstrated this. The first of which shows exactly what they have spent years denying. They've spent years denying that they have any political preferences, that they have any ideological views, that they care about who wins or loses elections. They've always vehemently insisted that. And yet the first story we published shows exactly the opposite. That internally, in their private chats that we've exclusively obtained, they were talking openly about how their goal was to prevent the Workers' Party from winning the 2018 election. In particular, there was a ban on interviewing Lula during all of 2018 when he was in prison. A judge finally authorized the largest newspaper in Brazil, Folha of São Paulo, to interview him. And on that day, they plotted how to subvert or block or dilute that interview by lying and saying that they couldn't get the security ready in time, or trying to turn it into a press conference hoping that would minimize it, or getting other prisoners to have the right to be interviewed to distract and turn it into a circus. And they said explicitly that their goal was that they were worried that a pre-election interview with Lula would help elect the Workers' Party. And they even said, the chief of the task force said, he was praying that there be no return to power by the Workers' Party. So it showed how much they lied to the public systematically, that exactly the thing that they always denied, that they had a party preference, that they were against the Workers' Party, was in fact exactly what was motivating them.
So I'm ignorant on what Workers' Party means in Brazil, for sure. But I do see the guy that got in power. I've seen shit about him, and his political maneuvers and bringing the military in to burn books or something to that regard.
Yeah.
So to say that, it's almost like I think it, the way I think it is here. Like, they'd rather have a Clinton type of person in office, but it's like, as long as this motherfucker doesn't win, As long as that happens, we'll screw over Bernie Sanders. Even if Trump wins, as long as this guy doesn't get in, we'll accept Trump to make sure this type of person doesn't get in.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that's the similarities I see here.
At the end of the day, I mean, what would you say? Probably on the surface, like a shallow understanding of what these politicians really represent, what they stand for. It's really like the end result of what they do, as far as but they're always for war.
Yeah.
You know, oh, Trump is better than Clinton. Yeah, but they're both for war. Clearly.
Yeah.
You tell me. We got to see we're almost there at 4 years with Trump. Oh, war, and he continued them. Cool. Clinton, Secretary of Defense, right? Under Obama?
Secretary of State.
My bad. Fuck up. But anyway. Oh yeah, we all seen what she was linked to and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's, Clinton, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I think we both know. It's like,
And even after all that, I still think they'd rather have Trump than Bernie Sanders.
Oh, sure.
Or even a Tulsi Gabbard, and definitely more than a Mike Gravel.
I think everybody would rather. I mean, those people that are basically all for war, all for those I would call it like a foreign business deal, like underhanded deals. They're all for that. They want that.
And it's more than that. It's domestic as well.
Oh, sure. I'm just saying, if you can't find the stuff like right here on the surface in front of our own eyes, just look overseas.
Yeah.
Put jobs, put war over there. Look at that. Now what? Put the GOP, put Syria.
That's why I always go to foreign policy first.
Well, it's very telling. It's very, very telling.
It's like, what the...
Elizabeth Warren? Oh, I'm against the banks. Yeah, but you voted to expand Trump's military budget. So who are you really for? Like, see how this is weird?
What the fuck could you say to me if
like
you're killing people over here? So you can't say shit to me
almost
about
like
anything.
someone telling me that they're the best fitness instructor in the world and they can help people get healthy. Then I see them dealing like Snickers.
Yeah.
Like on the side of the street somewhere. Extra corn syrup in this one. Like, what?
Roman said, what did Tim Fool say in the video you responded to about the Bay of Oman? Because Tim Fool is saying Zyocon propaganda again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call it Zio, I call it neocon, but... Zyocon, people are going to twist shit up too much.
It's almost like he's a tour guide, and he only leads you to one... Really, it's like he leads you to one route, like one road, and he's not saying what road that is, but he's telling you like where else not to go. Don't make a left turn. Don't make a right turn. Just that's it. But then there's a path right in the middle of those.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you.
Yeah,
right, well, you basically are because it's only like where else are we gonna go? I can't go left, right.
Who are you gonna trust? Iran or the U.S.? Me personally, I'm gonna trust the U.S.
He leaves you with one option.
Shouldn't you trust the evidence?
Yeah.
Or not? I wouldn't say trust it, but shouldn't you look for evidence?
There's a term for it. It's called dog whistling.
What if both sides are shitty? Why are you picking a side? Whatever. All right, let's continue with this.
Very mediocre analyst.
He's below mediocre. Let's be real.
That's true. I bet.
Here we go.
There's a new barb being set.
He's a centrist. I like being
as
mediocre.
long as I get paid, I don't have to get a real job. Well, basically.
All right, here we go.
The second story was even graver. It showed that Sergio Moro, who after he condemned and sentenced Lula to prison, which paved the way for Bolsonaro's victory, accepted Bolsonaro's offer to become a super justice minister. And it's called super justice minister because Bolsonaro created this uniquely powerful position specifically to entice Sergio Moro to join his government and lend it credibility. It consolidated unimaginable powers in one person of surveillance, of law enforcement, of investigation. And Sergio Moro accepted and became part of Bolsonaro's government after he succeeded in removing the principal obstacle to Bolsonaro's power, which was Lula. And what...
I'm not going to say there's collusion in that, but I could see how someone might say that. I'm not saying that. I think
All I'm saying is, as far as the information that's being presented to me through this video from Glenn Greenwald, it makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
I'm ignorant as far as what happened specifically in Brazil. But as far as bits and pieces, I could go, oh, I could probably guess this and this is happening. Like, for example, like I could probably guess the same thing was happening to Hugo Chavez, right? It's happening to Maduro. Even though I'm ignorant on specifics regarding in Venezuela, but it doesn't take a genius to go, oh, I can see what's going on here, just like Brazil, you know. Except he's giving me specifics.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So
be.
it makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if they picked Bolsonaro as in a way to say we're not picking Da Silva or Lula,
sure.
whatever you want to call him.
I mean, the U.S. does
Like who's closest to
there's a
winning?
history
That's
of-
not like him.
There's a history of the U.S. backing tyrants.
I'm not even saying the U.S. I'm saying.
What I mean by they is foreign interests. So what I meant to say was if the U.S. is a foreign interest in Brazil, there's a history of them funding and backing and supporting tyrants and corrupt politicians. You know.
I'll say, for me, I'm gonna wait because it's very possible someday
When you say they, I mean,
we find out. Well, I'm talking about Brazil itself,
okay.
within Brazil, but someday some paper or some fucking investigative journalism, some documents, whatever came out saying the U.S. wanted this guy in office. I wouldn't be surprised. And they, greased some wheels down in Brazil and got them certain guys to take Lula out as a contender. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Just being real.
All I have to find out is the U.S. funding some group that's in opposition to the president beforehand. I mean,
They might not have had to.
What I'm saying is, if I find any reason to believe that, it's like,
Yeah.
are you like making sure this one side does not come to power again? So,
For now, at least, it sounds more like the rich guy's pissed that, there could be this dude who gives his money to the poor people.
it could be.
Anyways, let's continue.
What these documents show is that the entire time that Judge Morrow was pretending to be a neutral judge, simply listening to the evidence on both sides, the way a judge in the United States and other judges in other countries are required to do, neutrally adjudicate the evidence. He was in fact doing what many people suspected, but which again, both he and Delton vehemently and repeatedly denied in public. Namely, they were collaborating in secret with the prosecutors to design and construct the case and the strategy behind it. So we have months of conversations between Judge Morrow on the one hand and Delton, the chief prosecutor, on the other, in which Judge Morrow is directing the prosecution on how to build the case, on how to strengthen the case, scolding them when they were making mistakes, in his view, that made the case weaker. He was designing the very criminal case, not just against Lula, but multiple other criminal defendants, and then walking into court and pretending that he was just a neutral judge, as he said in his speech, with nothing but passive values, no participation of any kind. It not only proves that Judge Morrow was a liar, but it puts into serious doubt the validity of the legal judgments he issued, beginning with the criminal conviction of Lula, which the Supreme Court, in light of our revelations, is now scheduled in 2 weeks to revisit. And there are a lot of legal experts who believe that that criminal conviction of Lula will be nullified on the grounds that it was the byproduct of Judge Morrow's improprieties. And then the third story
So, yeah, it's hard not to see the tinfoil hat worthy of a story that is plotting to take down this one guy from a group of the Workers' Party. It's like, what's up, propaganda? Turn the volume up. You can't hear it. I'll try. Not that. Here we go.
we revealed is very similar, showing that internally the task force knew that the case against Lula that they chose to prosecute him on, which was always regarded as a trivial case, lacked any of the evidence necessary not only to convict him, but to justify why the task force itself had the right and the jurisdiction in order to prosecute it. So it showed that they themselves knew that the case that they were telling the public was overwhelming and irrefutable in terms of Lula's guilt was in fact not just dubious, but fundamentally flawed. So this reporting has cast an entire new light on everything that has happened in Brazil of any significance over the last 12 months. It has obviously destroyed the carefully constructed reputation of now Justice Minister Moro, the second most powerful person in Brazil and previously the most respected. His mask has fallen. Everyone has read for themselves the conversations that he had with Deltan, where he collaborated unethically and against all basic notions of fairness in helping the prosecution build the case. They've seen that the task force itself did exactly what they always denied, namely explicitly thought about how to destroy the Workers' Party. And it has led even right-wing newspapers that have long cheered Judge Moro to call for his resignation, to call for Deltan's firing. And because these figures have been so crucial to Brazilian politics over the last 5 years, and because Judge Moro is so central to the legitimacy of the Bolsonaro government, it's hard to imagine revelations more significant than these.
It's kind of funny, right? Like the image of Trump is sort of cracking, I would say. People are starting to be like, what the fuck is he doing? There's a lot of,
I would say it has been.
You can call them alt-righters who are, they'll blame Pompeo and Bolton and try not to mention Trump's name, but the mask is slipping on this dude. The image is cracking a bit, and that might be happening to Mr. Closeted Gay Man, Bolsonaro.
I would say as far as Trump's political team, as far as reading, what would you call it, reading the temperature?
Yeah.
Why else do you think he's like, okay, you're going to go on TV, and you're going to say you're against Bolton and the Venezuelan conflict, okay? We need you to do that because people are getting wise to this. Okay, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. They're fools. Yeah, play the hero. Like we have to reaffirm this stance we have because our fucking facade is cracking down.
Even
so it's like
that Alex Jones video we were watching.
Yeah.
Not the child porn thing, but what was it, on Friday? This past Friday? Mm-hmm. And I was curious about what he was going to say about the whole shit happening in Iran. Yeah. And even Alex Jones was like, this is not good. I don't know about this ain't good.
Hey, it's a little weird because that dude was fucking, sounding the horn for for invasion in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I mean, the globalists are probably hiding in Venezuela. We had to invade.
We have the documents. All right. But, yeah. So
the mass shipment of gay frogs are being shipped to Venezuela.
We basically did this to make a correction. I'm not an expert. I don't think he's an expert. The laugh I just heard. Anyways, but I'm sure Glenn Greenwald is a lot closer to the scenario than we are. Now, I hope Glenn does not do what I've heard of him doing with like the Edward Snowden files, to where it's like a time released after this, buy my book now.
Oh, release it now. People are dying. Release it now. People are getting hurt.
Either release it now or really sift through it as fast as fucking possible. I mean, you got to look through it for whether it's real or fake.
Yeah.
And maybe they wanted to get it out there so that, listen, guys, we do have this. We're not holding. If they sat on it, maybe my life's in danger if I just have this and just not using it.
You just look at WikiLeaks as an example, as somebody who publishes stuff. From what I've been told, or from what I've heard, they what's the word I'm looking for? They're very thorough when they look through.
They verify everything.
Yeah. Because as far as anything they ever released, I don't think one has been wrong.
Yeah,
that's a very, very, very.
They verify it and they let it go.
Impressive track record.
Yeah. And I understand there's a difference. Glenn Greenwald, his face is out there. Mm-hmm. His name and face are both out there. Where he lives is out there. his husband's name and face out there. So it's like, it's not like WikiLeaks where it's like, here's Julian Assange. But is he doing the documents? Because he's all the way in Ecuadorian embassy, just like locked away. So clearly he has an organization of like faceless people doing shit.
Sure. I think it's necessary though, as far as someone to be out in the open.
Yeah.
Be the person you can see during the day. That means something too.
Alright, there's like 2 minutes left. Just in case there's anything important, he says. I'll get to the comments soon.
We began with 3 stories that we thought were incredibly important. There's still many, many, many stories left to report. We are reporting them systematically and carefully and professionally, the way that we did in the case of Snowden, to make sure that everything that we're reporting is of the highest accuracy, which means that even more light will be shined on the Minister of Justice, Sergio Moro, Deltan Dallagnol, and the rest of the prosecutorial task force that has dominated Brazilian politics for so long. The reason I say the implications of this story go far beyond Brazil is because it's a critical reminder of several important points. Number one, the fact that people who wield great power of law enforcement, of prosecutorial power, of surveillance, of law enforcement investigation, no matter how noble they begin with their intentions, can easily abuse their power if they lack transparency, which is exactly what happened in this case. They became drunk with their own publicity, with their own power, and decided that they were noble enough to break every rule and every law in order to achieve their outcome. It's a reminder to be skeptical of law enforcement agencies and government agencies that operate in the dark, a reminder that every democracy needs. It's also a critical reminder of what a free press really does, which is shine a light on the most powerful factions. A lot of you probably know that Brazil is a country plagued by a lot of political violence. And here in Brazil, we have a team that we have assembled over the last 3 years of overwhelmingly young, incredibly courageous, and highly professional journalists and editors and staff people who have reported this story despite serious risks. They're taking on the most powerful actors in Brazil, including the people most crucial to a highly repressive and threatening government, one led by a person who was part of and has repeatedly praised this country's military dictatorship. So it's again a reminder of how critical transparency is when sources come forward with information that powerful actors have been hiding. The duty of the journalist is to inform the public of what the public has the right to know. And our team here in Brazil has done that with remarkable courage.
All right. He's just bragging now. Nah, I get it. I think they could do better, though. Really sift through that information as fast as possible, get it out to the public in all one giant chunk. Let the other journalists sift through it and pick out stories. Okay. I need to see more on that.
I just saw it for the first time.
Alright, so that's our apology video. We apologize. We're sorry. Good stream, boys. Dump the leaks. Mine the gold, then dump the leaks. Yeah, they gotta verify everything, so that's alright. I'm not making Glenn look too good there. Okay. So, yeah, they gotta verify everything, but ultimately it should be, kaboom, just drop the bomb on them. But it is what it is. Alright. I guess we'll move on to another segment, unless anyone has anything to say. Let it be known. Oh, God.
That was mad loud.
Yeah, I gotta work on some tech things first before we get started.
I'm gonna go back to the "and we'll be back" screen.
Nah. We don't have enough viewers to do all the cool shit I have in the back of
We
my
should
mind.
just get like a piece of paper and just like you know what I'm saying? Like what do you call it? Like pull down a string or something like that and it goes in front of the camera. We'll be back.
All the shit I would be doing on this channel.
Mm.
It's just, I don't know if you little assholes deserve it.
Is it
More fun.
necessary? No.
That'd be for fun.
If you like
Otherwise,
that
it'd be
kind of thing.
it's kind of a waste.
I don't know. It's just for me. It's like, oh, you don't need aesthetics. You don't need all that. So why bother?
Oh, you could do it if you feel
unless-
like it.
Unless you want to.
Yeah.
Like you actually want to. Not statistics say that more people will pay attention to me if I.
No.
Like these fuckers with the. Right, Tim Pool. I guarantee you, he looked at some sort of statistic, or he just followed the trends of people that do as far as making thumbnails.
Him and David Backman are the same thing.
But they say they literally like put like words, right? You got white lettering, all caps, and the thing in the middle that he's trying to get across, as far as it's gonna like gather your attention the most, is this thing in like it's obviously capitalized, but it's in big bold red letters, censored.
Yeah.
Like YouTube has censored me. It's like you fucking
Come to find out, those guys are actually friends.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man and Tim Pool.
I could guess that.
They both sound like fucking robots, to be honest. Well,
They're hacks, dude.
Pac-Man really sounds like a robot. Pool sounds like a sniveling shithead to some degree. Like, no, milkshakes? That's violent. Like that type of shit. Like the kid on the playground. Like, fuck you, pussy. He's like, I'm telling the teacher. Like that kid.
That is not true.
He's that kid.
He threatened me. What'd you say? I'm telling the teacher. You will pay for this.
It's like, whoa.
You will see the difference in playground rules in 2002. Remember that.
Boys, I'm setting up my drip lines. I don't know what that is. Is it an IV or something? What video next? I'm thinking of talking about the culture war. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about guys who obsess over the culture war. I'm just going to randomly watch their videos. You know. This is basically our fuck around portion of this live stream.
Oh.
We answer questions. You guys can put links down, do whatever the fuck you want.
Within reason.
Oh, look at this. Ruben sent me a Twitter link. Let's see, what does he say? This is what Tim Fool said. Let me see. Ah, shit.
What?
John Cusack sharing a neo-Nazi meme and quote, then adds, follow the money. I can't believe that this was an accident. He added the money line. WTF.
Tim Pool said that?
Yeah.
Oh, what a little piece of
It's like,
shit.
what lane are you in, bro? Like, what the freak?
What lane are you in?
Seriously. It's like he looks for like, oh, these guys are on the left. Attack. And then when it's like, someone like Jimmy Dore's like, make sure you cower in fear when you see him. But an actor who won't respond to me, get him. Well, actually, he might respond to him.
Maybe.
Maybe. I am curious, though. I'm going to check real fast.
Pull that up.
I was looking at,
What are we looking at?
I saw that story.
Tim
The
Dumbass.
John Cusack shit.
I remember the first movie I ever saw with John Cusack in it. Better Off Dead. Cheesy 80s movie.
High Fidelity. That's an awesome movie.
I was like, what the fuck is this? I think I was like in 3rd grade or 4th grade. Fuck, man, it just makes you fucking like think like, Tim, do you know anything about this shit? Like, do you know anything
Can't
about this?
believe he said that out loud. Now what I'm searching for is if he's Jewish. So that's obviously him not being anti-Semitic.
I didn't see anything.
Not that I believe
I
in
didn't
that,
see anything
or
anti.
racism or
I did
anything
not
like
see
that.
anything anti-Semitic about the. Unless you would assume it is. Now I can see how people think that. At the same time, I mean, is he talking about the Israeli government?
Yeah. He's Irish Catholic or something.
Yep. Probably.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Not if he gives context with it, which is why I wish these fuckers, just
Tomorrow.
people in general, it's not only celebrities, but people in general, whenever they say stuff or post stuff like this, like, give me some context for what you're saying. That way there's no room for anybody to assume otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
And if they do, then they sound like an idiot. Like if I say something like, the Israeli government has been involved in some atrocious things, you know? And I give examples, like specific examples, and then, you know, a guy like Ben Shapiro, he's gonna look like a dumbass, and if you believe him, you're either a fanboy or whatever have you. You're gonna hear him. You're gonna go, oh, he's an idiot. He's obviously pandering to a team, you know. So
I expect to see this.
I wish I heard more context. Yeah. No,
That's going to be tomorrow
it's
morning. Anti-Semitism is rising on the left. It's been here. I'm just letting you guys know.
some fucking whack ass riff. Some dude probably fucked it up, but he's heard it. He's like, that sounds good. What year's that? You sure? Yeah. Rock and roll, right?
So there's Tim Pool's tweet.
You know, I take that back. It's probably a team of people, and he had no say in the matter. We are the real Ben Shapiro. Just a bunch of dudes in suits in some fucking office. When you read an article, it says "Meet Ben." Probably like a bunch of fake shit in there. My favorite band is Say AC/DC. They'll like you better. Say that.
Just an empty vessel.
Yeah. Hey. Who knows? Who knows?
Propaganda says for cannabis. Those drip lines, I guess. Ruben says David Pakman is a vile human. I won't go that far. I'll just say it's like, is anyone there?
Unless you know something I don't.
Yeah. I'll just say he's like, you know, just a human bot sounding type of person. It seems to just fall on the wrong side of a lot of issues. Two, like, I wouldn't say a lot, but very important ones. It's like, he could have 9 good political stances, but one of his bad ones is eating babies. And it's like,
Yeah.
like
see
the
how
rest
this-
of it's all fucked up now.
Yeah, you see how this fucking just tarnishes everything else?
Yeah.
Like I'm for Medicare for all. And free college. And
Eat babies.
and legalizing weed.
Free hat.
Ready?
Free
What?
hat, McCullough.
What?
You're all rap on the thing.
All these foreign leaders that we don't like, they must go. Oh, see, I don't mean shit now. None of it means anything. It's like Andrew Yang with his UBI and shit, and then he says the fucking Russia shit on Joe Rogan's podcast. So then it's like, oh, fuck you. Very simple. Even if what did he say? I'm not quoting him, but he said, even if we're not entirely sure, we'll send a message. It's like, what the fuck, you little shit? What did you just say?
Yeah. He's basically said, you're going to make them pay for something,
Yeah.
even if they didn't do it.
Yeah. Like, what? What are you going to do? You're going to bomb them? You're going to put economic sanctions on them? You little
Which
shit.
is warfare.
It is warfare, and they'll fucking answer back probably. It's like, fuck, dude. You can't leave a bunch of like millions of people's lives up to some little ignoramus. You know? I'm going to sound tough on a podcast today. fuck you. Fuck you, man.
Ruben says, I'm sure Tim Fool is just a Shabos Goy, if I said that right, not a Jew. I don't think it fucking matters.
No, it don't matter to me, man.
I think he's an opportunist. think every language has a word for that.
Just call them punks.
If you fucking caught that shit, I swear to God.
Depends who it is.
Swear to God, I'm gonna throw a milkshake at him.
Ready?
Pause.
I bet.
Is it?
I'll bet it's ready.
No, you're not.
You're gonna do something?
He's free, man. He's free.
He was free. Now he's not.
He's the most free he's ever
Hey,
been.
dude.
He's like someone who's like me. Godlike. Yes.
God,
Alright, so let me pull up the video of Tim Pool. I've heard a bunch of names for him. Tim Fool, Tim Tool. There's been a bunch.
Butthead. Heard of that one. It's like, dude, come on.
He's gonna sound like...
I'm gonna make an honest assumption. I honestly believe this dude probably before all this was I mean, based off of him saying it, him giving me a little bit of a backstory on what he was doing before all this. It's like, oh, you probably were disappointed you had to go get some sort of shitty job and you found this and you started doing it, you found out you started making money, but in reality it's really mediocre content. All you're really doing, as far from what I saw, is just running around with a camera, you know. And a shirt or vest that says press or whatever the fuck, and you have a body cam probably, and you probably give like, you know, an update on what's happening, but it's very mediocre from what I see in my standards of what a reporter is. But and now you cover
the culture war.
Yeah, stupid social shit. Oh, Antifa. Oh my. Hey Tim, I get if his intentions were good, that's one thing, but as far as from what I'm seeing, you offer no solution. And he puts out a fuck ton of content. It seems like every day, dude, at least like 4 or 5. It seems like 4 videos a day.
Yeah.
It seems like that. And that, to me, that looks very strategic as far as when the videos will be posted, you know, how long they're going to be specifically, you know. And the way his titles and thumbnails look, you know.
Yeah.
When I say cringeworthy, I mean, oh, man, this shit looks like Merchants of Cool as far as specific things that will target your attention. It's going to attract your attention, like big, bold letters with, and the thing you want to capture their attention the most is they're censoring me, so we're going to put censorship in big, bold, red letters. The other ones will be in bold letters too, but this one will be in red. It'll capture attention like a white wall with a red dot. It's gonna, all your attention is going to go immediately towards the red dot, immediately.
Well, it's a way for a person to fake having any type of substance.
So what I'm saying is, what I was gonna say was, as far as my what intuition tells me about this guy is basically, oh, you don't really, you know, if we really get down to it, we really scrape away the fucking shit under the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find that there's no moral obligation to do good, really. You know, here it's just more of a, well, I found my place and I'm making decent money, and now I'll continue to do this and ignore the greater good.
Yeah.
Or at least the guy outside your window, you know, figuratively speaking, you know, waving the flag. Help me, help me. You know? Fuck, you know, like you're in the plane, you're flying out, you see an island, says SOS, like in fire. Help us. Nope, I'm comfortable here, making decent money. Like fucking, yeah, go, you know, have fun, you little hobbit hole, you know?
Well, I was going to say...
If that's the case, then it's like, wow, dude.
I was going to say it's a way to fake substance when you know, go off of topics that are so simple. Censorship is an easy topic.
Those guys should be taken down immediately, the guys that offer no solution. I'm pointing out an obvious problem.
You don't mean taken down, right? You mean argued.
If you look at what I've said in the past, as far as presenting ideas to the table, that's what I mean specifically. You're always allowed, look, I don't mean censoring anybody, you know. What I'm saying is, oh, we already know who you are, so we're gonna go after your ideas. And if they're actually stable and sturdy, they will last, you know.
Yeah.
But if they're not, you know, and you're milquetoast, you offer nothing, you're fucking Wonder Bread, you know. Oh, then, you know, we'll fucking find out where you really stand, you know. You're always allowed to be here because we can use you as a lesson. Plus, it's the right thing to do to allow everybody to a platform and to say whatever. But, it's like, oh, see, it's a good thing because that way people will see, oh, your ideas are going to be thrown in the trash can, very early on, He won't be the first one. The first ones that will be thrown in the trash can are just the obvious as far as war is the righteous thing to do. Oh, you're first, huh? Well,
I don't even think people go that route anymore.
hey.
They know they can't get away with it.
I meant...
they can't sell
what I meant.
the American
listen,
dream thing.
If we get everybody in a room, like, not literally, but... Hey, okay. I would say majority of the room agrees that killing is wrong, right? Probably like a mass majority go like, yeah. Okay. Now, you have that little percentage that might go, actually, it's like, we'll knock them down first, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or war is needed for society to succeed. We'll get rid of those guys first. Their ideas, that is.
He means in a debate, their ideas would get smushed. Thus, there'd be no reason
I've said it before,
for people to go into them. Except for movies.
If someone's been subscribed, or you're just going off of what I said right there,
Just saying. Propaganda,
point,
boys.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The point is to bring ideas to the table where everybody can look at them, critique them, and then we go from there.
That's right.
That's
right.
All right. You brought your ideas to the table. We disagree. In the cell. Like, no.
Propaganda says, boys, I lost one of my trippers. I'm doing the Carlin again. Ha, I just found a bag of weed, though. It's your lucky day.
In between the couch seat. There it is.
So, all right, we're going to move on to Tim Pool. Now talking, basically sounding like the typical guy. The typical right, alt-right, whatever you want to call it. Like that whole movement. Like those guys who just seem to have the same ideology and they just repeat it in different ways over and over again.
Or what this here he'll
Mall
do,
News,
he'll do
Vincent
it.
James's.
Yeah, he'll do it occasionally, like Tim.
I think he does it outright.
What I mean is this: he does way more of a. If I have if I have a Coke, I have a Pepsi, I have a Sprite. Coke and Pepsi are nasty. They don't taste good. They're not good for you. And that's it.
Yeah.
What about that one you didn't talk? Wait, what about the other one? What do you mean?
Well, he was selling war, basically without instead of just going like how bad war is. Like, I'm strictly anti-war.
No.
Sometimes you need war. It's like what?
Yeah, no.
Like I understand someone just saying that in general, like just in general saying that, but we were talking about the Gulf of Oman attack or whatever. Mm-hmm. We were talking about that in particular. So when you say that during that conversation, it's like, are you selling this incident?
Well, that whole anti-war thing, I am absolutely no, you're not. No, you're not. Because if you were, no matter what, anti-war, no matter what, you never would have fucking said that.
Yeah.
God, he is worse than Vincent James. No, he is.
That's a matter of taste.
No, this is what I mean specifically.
Yes, I agree with you, but it's still a matter of taste. It's like, I don't like the sniveling guy who throws a rock and hides on a tree.
What here?
He did it over there.
Vince will do the same thing, but he's pretty out and open about who his team is. This guy is like, oh well, I don't know. I'm just here. I've been criticized as a milquetoast fence sitter. Why? But I know
they don't question it.
Well, I know you're not, because you tell people where not to go and you leave only one direction left.
Yeah.
Like, listen, all I'm saying is this. Out of the three teams, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Orioles, all I'm going to say is the Orioles and the Mets, they're not good.
Yeah.
Like, what? They're not really good to watch.
Matt Hunter says, Happy Father's Day, Michelle Obama. That's some sort of ist. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you want to know?
Huh?
You want to know? You already know. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, the theories of her being
Yeah,
a
yeah.
man.
I don't give a
Gotcha.
shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't care either. Ooh.
He's fine though. Gets hit, come back, line drive. My guy gets hurt. Listen.
All right, let's
Start
get into
doing
this
those
Tim
Russian
Pool video.
steroids. Huh?
To where it's not, this video isn't some like, oh my god, it's so exposing. It's more of just every time you listen to one of his videos, you hear this quiet little thread running throughout it. It's like, man, where have I heard these ideas before?
Mm-hmm.
He's not directly saying the ideas, but I've heard these ideas where he's hovering around. And here's another one.
In an op-ed from the Washington Examiner, the future of men and marriage is bleak.
That might be.
And I agree. And perhaps there's a bit of a
Probably.
Sorry, guys, that's probably too loud.
Start over.
Let's take it down a notch.
personal bias in why I'm interested in stories like these, but in an op-ed from the Washington Examiner, the future of men and marriage is bleak. And I agree. And perhaps there's a bit of a personal bias in why I'm interested in stories like these, but admittedly, I think it is very news relevant to talk about the decline of marriage and men. Men aren't going to school. They're not having relationships. Like men are. The amount of male virgins is skyrocketing.
Men.
And you have to wonder why this is. Why they're living at home. This is not good for society. Of course, there's the radical feminists who are laughing about it because they view the world through a lens of patriarchy. But
So he's moving into that, I guess you call it the red pill territory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to call it that, but I only say it for a reference sake so people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I would never call it that. I'd call it a bunch of,
Don't let people hijack that.
down on themselves little boys and girls.
Yeah, I've seen those videos.
It's like, oh, you seem
Not
sad.
as many, but it's like, oh, you're both dumb.
It's like, oh, you're looking everywhere but at yourself, aren't you? Yep.
That's caught. Oh.
How else do you get viewers? The customer's always right. So when you sell them stories like this, it's never their fault. It's something else.
Mm. Listen, Thompson, I know you've been working hard, but the customer does not want you to serve their food. Why? Well, because your certain ethnicity bothers them. The customer's always right. You're fired.
I mean,
What?
the girl's not liking you could be an outside thing, but how you feel about it, you're going to give that away too?
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa. I'm just saying.
Don't let people hijack that fucking blue pill, red pill thing, Very sad. It's very disappointing what happened with that.
All right,
Can you imagine just having some sort of phenomenal movie being put out there, as well as the amount of success on the surface success it has, and then people do not fucking get it. Then they hijack the terms and quotes and sayings within the movie itself. Blue pill and red pill. Basically, the red pill. The red pill is understanding that you are a man. Like, Jesus Christ. No.
Tell them I'm giving you the truth. Giving it there.
This is your identity as a man. Like, stop it.
All right, so let's let Tim Pool keep talking for some reason.
this will be bad for everyone. I'm a firm believer in equality. I believe that everyone should be given the opportunity to succeed. And we can...
Oh, you sure? Because I remember you doing a little video about someone breaking their legs in the jungle. You don't have a right to breathe the air you're breathing in.
You see, it's opportunity when they pay for it.
Ah, my bad.
So you have to go do something you may not like in order to do something you like. If that makes sense. Even though the other way could be, just doing what you like could be possible. Let's never mind that, because that would be, that would make sense or something. Something that might offend people who decided to do the dumb shit. Who decided to sacrifice their own care for themselves in order to, make it in this society. So you have to suffer the same thing.
It's like, let me get this straight. Because you flourish
healthy.
in a sick society, you're against me trying to build one.
Yeah.
Me trying to build a society where everybody has has all the resources available for them to make the choice.
Yep.
Whatever they want, whether it be whatever they want to do.
That's not fair because that's not what your grandfather had.
Oh.
You got to suffer like he did.
Mm-hmm. I'd really rather not go through what that guy went through. I don't wish anybody went through that.
You're only rewarded slightly less suffering socially. But then it's weird because the suffering always keeps coming back up.
Can you imagine, James? You now run from a country, or leave it because there's fucking war going on, and you go to another country, probably for an opportunity as a young boy. Then you get to fight into a war, and then all this other horrible stuff. So it's like, wonderful. Listen, kid, I was shot at, so it's only fair if you are too. It's like, what? Huh? See, this is just dumb guy logic. Like, come on, guys.
If they stop suffering, they might start thinking. Let's not do that. Turn Tim Pool down, or your mic's up. We're not talking when the video's playing. We might talk to each other, but we're not really commenting on the video.
Yeah, go ahead, play it.
Here's Tim Pool.
And that means a lot. That really does. That means providing resources to impoverished communities. Yes, libraries, education, internet. Very, very social democrat-y of you might say to me. Of course. Equality of outcome, on the other hand, is absurd nonsense that means nothing. You can't guarantee outcomes. They'll never be the same. And now we're seeing a problem in equality.
Don't you want equality of outcome for, health? How about health? That should have equality of outcome.
Sure.
Healthy. How about, whether someone gets to live inside or not?
Yeah.
Oh, equal.
You provide the choice as far as...
How about nurturing? They're biological nurtured, nutrition.
Yeah.
Biological nutrition. Should that have, equal outcomes?
Oh,
Yes. But we know what we mean.
how dare they show Bumgarner with no beard?
Also, in a metaphysical, deeper sense, since these guys can't think on that level, I think they're all taking these terms from Jordan Peterson.
Mm.
But I think he would have a more in-depth look at it. It's
Like,
what if I...
Yeah.
Say, hey, what if I talk about happiness? Should that have an equality of outcome? Yeah, sure. As far as, we want everyone to be happy.
Yeah.
Is that possible? No, I doubt that, but I'm just saying. I'm just using the word happiness, forgive me. How about free? How about freedom? Equality of outcome. Do we need a hierarchy of freedom? No. So, I get it in context of not everyone's going to be LeBron James, but it can still be applied in different areas, like freedom, or nutrition, or whatever, or even value. Everyone valued equally.
I mean, imagine as far as the events leading up to an experience in which somebody can find something that they would like to pursue. You know what I'm saying? So you hear it a lot, right? Just, common, like, social, like, there's this dude in the city I knew, man, he was better than LeBron, but, what do you call it, dropped out of school because of this and that, and his family, he needed to go to work and stuff, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that, Not specific, but you hear stories like that,
Yeah.
It's like, wouldn't it be better if these people had the fucking resources? How do I say this better? You provide them with more resources, that way they have all the opportunities to do whatever the fucking they want,
Yeah.
I can say that better, but I think you get the point. Yeah.
That is a weird volume level.
Can they hear us?
Still, it's crazy level jump. I'll be your sound guy. That is a huge part of getting more subs. I can't hear you, and then I turn it up the volume. Then Tim is like noise complaint level. Gotcha. I could turn Tim down a bit. Let me do a little sound check here.
Very, very social democrat-y of you, you might say, to me. Of course. Equality of outcome, on the other hand, is absurd nonsense that means nothing. You can't guarantee outcomes. They'll never be the same. And now we're seeing a...
Alright. Hopefully that's better. I'm also talking with a low voice right now. Because, fuck it, that's why. Would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this 7-minute clip. Oh boy. I can only imagine what this clip is.
Don't make me say it.
Kant on collectivism and war. Alright. Sounds like that philosopher guy. James is 11 totally out of the question, or is it strictly 12? Asking for a friend. Fucking troll motherfucker.
I'll take you seriously when you actually want to have a discussion. Until then, I'm not going to read your comments. You know?
Alright.
That being said,
I'll play a little more Tim Pool, and I'll get to Matt Hunter's video.
problem in equality. Do I see the left coming out to the defense of men? They never do. Sometimes. There are some good people who have called this out, and I appreciate it. But always, it's just negative, patriarchy, etc., etc. And we are headed for a dark future without families. I don't care what your family structure is. I'm not talking about nuclear heteronormative families either. I'm talking about people who can share resources to help raise children and provide a loving family environment. Single parent households don't do as well as, dual parent.
You say loving family household, but then you speak in terms of robotics, basically.
Yeah, the worst one was that whole thing as far as you have no right to the oxygen you breathe. It's like, what's that?
Batteries don't work unless there's a positive and negative side to them. Like, okay. Are you going to discuss a family that way?
Yeah.
What is causing that, Tim? Oh, fuck. Fuck life. Crank up your mic so you can sound like Larry King.
Ew, no.
Mine is pretty high up. James is pretty high up too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Whatever. Alright, here's more.
No one's bleeding. No one's ears are bleeding, right? Trying to be considerate here.
Muay Thai being silly. Thanks, bro. Alright, here we go.
One day maybe
again,
he'll grow up. Yeah.
Here's some more Tim Time Jimmy Jam.
I'm not talking about straight couples. This is. I was reading about this. It's really interesting. They don't know yet. Okay, the studies are still ongoing. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. My understanding was that we know that fatherless households, the kids who grow up without fathers, tend to do really bad. More likely to do drugs. More likely to go to jail. But they haven't been.
We know they tend.
Yeah, like
Think about that.
I was about to say, yeah. It's like we can make the distinction between knowing and believing. Now we're going to talk about statistics. And when you say the word we know that they tend to, like, you see how that's fucking...
Well, if the problem's conditioning, as in they're relying on some outside source to tell them what to do, shouldn't that be a problem for any age?
Yeah.
I see a lot of ages doing that shit.
Sure.
They look for the daddy figures in the White House. That happens quite a bit. Whether they like them or don't like them, it's still they're still playing the role of daddy figure. Of, I love you, Dad, or I hate you, Dad.
Yeah.
Still playing the same archetypal role.
There's adults, as far as physically, who are doing that, which is why I call them children. Oh, you're children. The only difference is you have aged. Physically. That's it.
Yeah. The reason you think the way you think is because of Kant. Ha! What preceded Kant?
Careful, Matt Hunter.
Yeah, you'll get wrecked in this arena.
Well, all we gotta do is just, talk about that free will thing. You'll run away, right?
Oh, I don't care for you to run away. I'd ask you what precedes Kant. Is it life? Does life precede Kant?
See, now this
Hold
is...
on. Does life precede him? Well, isn't life still here? So did I need Kant?
This has
Make
happened before.
Yeah.
This, I remember this. This discussion. What preceded Kant? Like, I fucking remember this now. Yeah. It's like, then what are we doing, man? We doing, what's it called?
Where's James' new love, Jack? Jack will probably show up for fights. Unless it's you, Muay Thai. One of your 8 accounts to troll us. Of course, one day I'll grow up. It happens, I guess, to every 12-year-old.
No, what you mean is physically aging. I'm talking about... How could I say this? What are the words to... Maturity. That's it. Yeah, so hey dude, you could be 30 years old and you can be just as silly, so.
Yeah. I'll play a little more Tim Pool, because I might switch over now. I'm a little more curious about the...
Go ahead.
What's his name? Is his name like Emmanuel?
Who?
Emmanuel Kant. I might be fucking his name up. You know what? Fuck Tim Pool.
Oh. You could always just go back to it later.
Yeah. Collectivism in what?
War.
Yeah.
There it is.
Why aren't I signed in? What happened?
What'd you do, man?
I got signed out somehow.
As far as from I remember, that's what I did today. I signed out of the account and I signed back in on this laptop. I'm pretty sure there's nothing to do.
It's whatever. Jordan, why don't you ever talk about Glocks, Tupac, and thick ladies twerking? Guys, why don't you ever go full screen? Why don't you go away?
Oh, damn. You're fucking like for like 25 minutes, you're just like quiet.
Ye who has to be smoketh shall be smoketh.
Like just low voice. And it's like, how come you guys never go full screen? Why don't you go away? Jeez.
I always wanted to be good at just shit talking. Like, I always want to have comebacks like that. Anyways, here's Kant on collectivism and war. This might clear the room.
It might.
Kant on collectivism and war. Of the major figures in German philosophy in the modern era, Kant is perhaps the one most influenced by Enlightenment social thought. There is a clear intellectual connection between Rousseau and Kant. Biographers often repeat Heinrich Heine's anecdote about how Kant always took his afternoon walk at a set time, a time so regular that neighbors could set their clocks by his appearance. Except on one occasion, he was late for his walk because he had been so caught up in reading Rousseau's Emile that he lost track of time. Kant had been raised as a pietist, a version of Lutheranism that emphasized simplicity and eschewed external decoration. Kant therefore had no pictures or paintings hanging anywhere on the walls of his house, with one exception. Over his desk in his study hung a picture of Rousseau. Wrote Kant, quote, "I learned to honor mankind from reading Rousseau," unquote. Neo-Enlightenment.
That's a problem. From the jump, that's a problem.
You needed to read?
I understand it's romantic to say things like that and live like that.
Yeah.
But
Again,
I see no difference between that and frat boys. Like,
thinkers attack.
Pause it.
my bad. I don't see any difference between that and frat boys. Like,
This is.
middle of my sentence.
Go ahead. Fuck it. Just say it. Say it.
I forgot. Go ahead.
No, you didn't.
I forgot.
Say it.
Never mind.
I'm giving you 5 seconds to say whatever you're gonna say.
Balls. In RO. Balls in RO.
You're being silly. Whatever.
Good.
This is why I would rather have the person in front of me.
Oh,
I'd rather have that person in front of me, but I can't because the dude's dead. So,
yeah.
what do you really mean, man? I don't want to leave it up to someone speaking for you. Did you mean the social? I learned from this. I learned from reading this book.
Yeah.
Is that what you really meant? But if that's what he meant, then I would just say, yeah. I hope not. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah. Just nitpicking a bit. All right. Here we go.
Matters. Yeah.
Kant for two things: his skeptical and subjectivist epistemology and his ethic of selfless duty. Kant's account of reason divorces it from cognitive contact with reality, thus destroying knowledge. And his account of ethics divorces contact of selfless duty. Kant's account of reason divorces it from cognitive contact with reality, thus destroying knowledge. And his account of ethics divorces morality from happiness, thus destroying the purpose of life. As discussed in Chapter 2, Kant's powerful arguments were a mighty blow to the Enlightenment. Politically, however, Kant is sometimes considered to be a liberal, and in the context of 18th century Prussia, there is some truth to that. In the context of Enlightenment liberalism, however, Kant diverged from liberalism in two major respects: his collectivism and his advocacy of war as a means to collectivist ends. In a 1784 essay, Idea for a Universal History with Cosmopolitan Intent, Kant asserted that there is a necessary destiny for the human species. Nature has a plan. It is, however, quote, a hidden plan of nature, unquote, and as such it is one that requires special discernment by philosophers. That destiny is the full development of all of man's natural capacities, especially man's reason. By man here, Kant did not mean the individual. Nature's goal is a collectivist one.
So, him saying there is a destiny, I would say is true, but it's a lot more practical than that. I think he pasted his ego on there a little too much, because we could end up nuking ourselves.
Or it could be an accident.
Or whatever. Yeah, whatever. And the zombie virus comes out. But as far as a destiny, yes, for sure. And I wouldn't say it's hidden. I'd say it's just not looked at. It's a sort of a perspective thing to say hidden.
Mm.
It's like, oh, you're just not looking at it.
Well, that's why it would be hidden. Right?
Is that rock hidden, or are you just looking this way instead of that? So I would put it in those terms. What that destiny is, I don't know for humanity. I think that's a weird statement to make, unless you're God or something, or you know God very well. But I'd say, I could put it in a vague term. That's the best I can do. But I'm not going to give something detailed to where it's, we evolve, our reasoning evolves to the highest nth degree or whatever. It's like, no, not as like just, if you're talking about, the biological life of a human. Like, no, I can't say that in good faith. But, yeah, I think I rewinded enough. There we go.
Nature, unquote. And as such, it is one that requires special discernment by philosophers. That destiny is the full development of all of man's natural capacities, especially man's reason. By man here, Kant did not mean the individual. Nature's goal is a collectivist one, the development of the species. Man's capacities, Kant explained, are, quote, to be completely developed only in the species, not in the individual, unquote. The individual is merely fodder for nature's goal, as Kant put it in his review of Herder. Quote, nature allows us to see nothing else than that it abandons individuals to complete destruction and maintains only the type, unquote. And again, in his 1786 speculative beginning of human history.
All right. So basically saying, if I had to guess what he's saying, is the individual thinking it's existing as an individual, trying to be an individual, isn't really being an individual. It's just following a pattern in order to progress the species forward. Sort of like, think of it like a guy like, oh, I'm in love with this girl. It's like, you're not really in love. You're just, that's your biology telling you to mate with that girl to create more kids and keep the human species going. Or your, whatever. Keep your sperm going. Your sperm type going.
Like, there's no love. It's just, what do you call it? Your neurons firing or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
That's called a person who doesn't know themselves. And you're just looking at the evidence, like, here's what we've seen so far. Absolutely on the surface things. Looking at those things and saying, oh, it must be this.
Yeah.
'Cause that's all I can see.
That's all I can smell, touch, measure, whatever have you, see.
Fuck. So what he meant by destiny was really, is that the biological order. That's what he really meant by that. Okay, so you're not going off something metaphysical, like
No.
I sort of assumed.
No.
It's like, no. Okay, so then he's an ignoramus.
Yeah.
If he's going off of that, he's an ignoramus. Of individuality, of what an individual is, more than just biological skin deep levels.
Yeah.
I
On the
mean,
surface.
what is that observer? What is it? Who or what is that?
See how this always goes back to that?
Oh, it's a question worthy of an answer.
No, I'm
or
saying
worthy of observing at the very
it
least.
tends to go back to that question. Remember, it's just like these topics in general,
Yeah.
It's like we always have to establish that, who or what is this thing over here.
Boy, that is fucking hilarious, man. Jordan, why don't you go away? James, oh my god, bro, get wrecked.
Someone's still a little butthurt. They
Boy,
got
that is
wrecked.
fucking hilarious, dude. You silly motherfucker. Propaganda. Kant can suck my noodle. My ideology is Muay Thai. Alright, so let's, I guess, continue with this.
Individuals to complete destruction and maintains only the type, unquote. And again, in his 1786 speculative beginning of human history, Kant argued that, quote, the path that for the species leads to progress from the worse to the better does not do so for the individual, unquote. The development of the individual is in conflict with the development of the species, and only the development of the species counts.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Now, I'd have to hear it to understand what he means by the individual.
Which is why.
Because now he's throwing me off.
This is why I wish these people were in front of me. Like, hey man, let me get the I can get the best possible understanding of what you mean specifically, And I'd rather not hear that from somebody else, or even if someone else is reading your book, Let me hear you say it, like you. I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna assume what he means, and use the process of elimination. But I want to get to that point where I can go, I'll bank my fucking money on this shit. That you mean this.
Yeah. But let's let it continue.
But it is also not the case that the species develop.
I just want to say it's dope that there's shit like this just free on YouTube and all that.
Sure. Well,
I don't think they'll touch things like this. Like, no one's watching it anyways. It's 268 views.
It should literally be like a public library. That's what this should be.
Yeah. Here we go.
Development of the species counts. But it is also not the case that the species development is about happiness or fulfillment. Quote, nature is utterly unconcerned that man live well, unquote.
We are nature, so that's patently wrong. We're not separate from nature. Fuck.
Do you think nature is fucking trees and the grass only? You know what I'm saying?
Nature does not care about
a
humanity.
shallow understanding of what nature is.
Yeah. Nature's that tree over there. Nature's that squirrel. You probably stop defining cities as nature just because you're used to nature meaning like the woods or the Amazon jungle or something. That's nature.
Only.
Not Madison Square Garden. That's human stuff. So that's pretty silly from the jump.
Themselves, yeah.
There we go.
Nature is.
What are you watching right now? We're watching Kant on Collectivism and War. A video put in the chat by Matt Hunter. And I said it's like free willy-nilly. We're watching whatever the freak we feel like. You guys can put links down. We'll check it out.
Actually, I'd like it if you guys tell us what it is. You know, we don't have to.
Yeah.
Hey guys, check this out. It's da da da, and here's the link. You know, rather than hey guys, check this out. Like, can you just tell me what it is?
Yeah.
Just tell me what it is.
All right, here we go.
Utterly unconcerned that man live well, unquote. The individual and even all existing individuals collectively now living are merely a stage in a process, and their suffering is of no account in the light of nature's ultimate end.
What are we then? Are we aliens to the universe? Even then what that was you.
Oh, it wasn't.
Then what universe do we come from outside this universe? It's on and on and on.
It's interesting, right? Because when the topic of the individual comes up, whenever I hear this answer, or usually whenever I hear an answer similar to that, it's like brushed over. Like we have to skip over this pond over here to get to this destination over here. It's like no, you have to swim through that.
Yeah. And I'd love to pull Kant aside and do some real existential work, like grounded, not just sitting in a room thinking about it. I mean, really being active about it. I'd basically come to the point of like, how do you know unless you try it? Pause. You know?
Yeah.
So how do you know I'm full of shit unless you try this thing?
It's like skipping steps to get to it to get to a solution over here, you know, or to come to the solution that you want to be.
I'd show them the Matrix movie, like, are you sure this isn't real? You know that this isn't like a documentary or something.
I have an idea what he would say.
But, all right.
That's why, you know, it'd probably go back to establishing what is known as opposed to what's believed to be true.
King Me says, you know Spanish girls love it up the butt? The freak? I know Balls and Arrow does. All right.
How did you know that?
Let's continue. It's written on his face.
Yeah, okay.
Let's continue.
Kant argued man should suffer, and deservedly so. Man is a sinful creature, a creature that is inclined to follow its own desires and not the demands of duty. Echoing Rousseau, Kant blamed mankind for having chosen to use reason when our instincts could have served us perfectly well. And now that reason has awakened, it has combined with self-interest to pursue all sorts of unnecessary and depraved desires.
If that's not telling.
According to him.
Yeah.
But, yeah. From what I'm hearing here, unless I'm hearing it wrong or, you know, their words might have meant something different in their context or whatever. I'd be like, I would wreck this motherfucker.
Which is why I wish he was here. Like, tell me what you think.
Like,
I don't want to rely on someone else's. I don't want to rely on someone else to tell me what you thought, you know, or the words specifically. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you rather hear? Phil tell you what John meant, or just John himself? you know?
Yeah. Propaganda. I like my philosophy like I like my penis. Deep and really old.
All right.
Swear to God. These fucking weirdos in our comments.
Well,
Don't worry, it works, guys. It works out.
not much I can say.
Alright, let's continue.
Thus, the source of our vaunted freedom, Kant wrote, is also our original sin. Quote, the history has awakened, it has combined with self-interest to pursue all sorts of unnecessary and depraved desires. Thus, the source of our vaunted freedom, Kant wrote, is also our original sin. Quote, the history of freedom begins with badness, for it is man's work, unquote. Accordingly, Kant admonished us, quote, we are a long way from being able to regard ourselves as moral, unquote. Man is a creature made of, quote, warped wood, unquote.
Did he do like some self-observating and then painted it all over everyone else?
Very well could have, or he observed something which is an experience, you know. Instead of going further, like, oh, this is what it is,
Yeah.
which is sad. It's sad because he's wrong. We're gonna have to I would have to ask Kant, hey man, what's freedom? Let's really go into that. What is freedom?
Yeah.
Truly. That way we can establish what that means whenever the fuck you're talking about. Because it's not. The same thing goes for when you use the word individual. Same thing goes for the truth, or truth, knowing, believing, belief.
Propaganda. I read a philosophy book called Voltaire's Bastards. It's by John Ralston Saul. He came up with corporate coup as a term. Interesting. Ruben Garcia, gay wonk used to work for Media Matters. Not surprised at all. Not even a little bit there. Propaganda. The book is about the age of reason and it leading us to technocrats that only think and reason. You mean robots?
Oh, come on, get out. Off the wall. Yes.
I mean,
The triple, son.
now you're out at third.
Oh, no. Turn on the fucking... Come on. Got to do this.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with logic and reason. It's not the whole thing.
No, they're necessary. It's to
They're
me.
tools.
Yeah, it's like you have a plate. The knife and the fork. You only bring the knife.
Yeah.
It's like I'll give you a little bit of credit. But I can't give you full credit.
Kingme says, moral law is an invention of mankind to disenfranchise the strong in favor of the weak. Would we know if murder and stealing is wrong if it weren't burned into our minds from birth? Yes. There's fucking oil on this motherfucker. It's like... Fucking... My microphone stand is singing to me. But,
Go ahead.
I'd say it's the innate thing is what you call goodness or conscience or whatever. Everything else just needs content to go along with it, meaning experiences, meaning the difference between left and right, or up and down, or pain and pleasure, and on and on and on and so forth. So, yeah. To know whether murder, or what was the other one you said? Murder or Murder and stealing.
Mm-hmm.
How would we know if they're wrong? Well, it's content. You need context and you need intention. Right? If stealing's an okay thing, let's say the moral law is stealing's okay, and we all agree to this rule that stealing's okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, then it wouldn't be stealing, but whatever. Let's just say it'd be more of sharing. But,
Yeah. Oh, and let's establish something else here.
intention, I'm
You
saying.
can't know something if you're being conditioned to think a certain way or believe a certain way.
Yeah.
It's like I always find that the conversation's going to go there to establish these things, like to establish what do I call them? Support beams, you know, or a base of the building or castle or whatever, you know. So we need to establish this thing right here before we go forward, or it always goes back to that, you know.
Laws based on, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, King Me. Laws based on what is right and wrong is completely subjective and opinionated. True freedom knows no bounds, except your own. Right? I choose to be this. It's like, if I choose to be a basketball player, it's like, oh, you have no freedom. You're just a basketball player. I chose to be a basketball player. It's different. I created my own bounds to keep myself in. That's what I'm saying. And conditioned content might as well be someone else telling you you have to do this.
Step out. Whatever. I was gonna say Britain.
Gotcha.
Warm them up. Take out Watson. There you go. All right.
Now you're talking to King Me, I guess. Oh, fuck. I've just been doing that whole game. Not even paying attention.
Come on, man.
Just swinging at shit. Yeah. I'm more curious about philosophy at the moment. The philosophy
Oh,
of,
give me the controller.
philosophy of hitting home runs. Ah,
Velocity of launch angle.
who's this fucker? Okay.
Is that Will Smith? Is that his name?
Yeah, fuck you. Whoever it is, fuck him. I'm still up. Blood Meridian fan. Okay, we're talking to each other.
Mm.
Propaganda. No, like Robert McNamara and others that use reason to kill millions. Well, that's using legalese, probably.
Oh yeah.
Like, we can't just do this, so we need to make up a reason to do it.
Like at the end of the day, everyone. It's like. It's like literally can't escape seeing the breadcrumbs of ignorance with these people.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, you see how they like there's a form of being dishonest here. When it comes to whenever these tyrants want us like specific act or brought into place, you know, it's like, well, we want to invade. We're gonna lie. We're gonna lie about why we want to do this, really.
Yeah. Oh, and crash the economy.
Mm.
Matt Hunter says there's a lot wrong with logic and reason. Well, they're essentially relative unless you're talking about the fuck. This is where these things get difficult and trying to put
Into
certain
words?
things into words.
Yeah.
Okay, you can use logic and reason to justify, strawberry donuts are better than blueberry donuts, right? You can come up with a great argument using logic and reason, but in that case, logic and reason become relative. They become relative terms from individual to individual. Someone who likes blueberry donuts could justify why blueberry is better than strawberry, and on and on and so forth.
Mm.
What you can't turn into relativity is feel good. Does that make sense? This person who likes strawberry, they eat their strawberry donut and they feel good. The person who likes blueberry eats their blueberry donut and it feels good.
Are you trying to put it that way?
That's where it's not relative.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it's not a relative game.
Mm.
Right?
I understand. Yeah.
You can argue... you can argue strawberry donut makes you feel better than a blueberry donut. That's essentially what you're talking about.
Mm.
But you can't argue about feeling better, period.
Mm.
If that makes any sense. Right? It's not relative to one person to another. Feeling good is just feeling good in every individual.
Mm.
Hopefully that made some form of sense.
I thought you'd be specific about what an experience is.
Why?
We're talking about like individuals here. Feel good.
Yeah, the feeling of feel good.
Yeah.
I don't need to... It's not relative. I don't need to go any further into it.
Mm. Mm. Think of it in
It's
the
like,
beginning.
Do I need to go detail when I say pain?
I didn't say you need to. I thought that's what you were trying to do.
No. Propaganda, technocrats in the Pentagon. Ruben Garcia. Honest question. Does throwing milkshakes at people count as harassment or assault? On the books probably does, but for me, fuck no. I'd call it a dick move. I wouldn't call it
I think it's
harassment
stupid.
or assault.
think
I
it's-
guess you can call it harassment to some degree, but I don't mean like lawful harassment.
It's just stupid and silly. So I mean, hey guys, is that a nice thing to do to someone? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You don't got to be in like, what do you call it, kindergarten?
Yeah.
Oh, this person probably won't like this if I do that.
King me, you've never stopped to question just who decided to make laws, what gives them jurisdiction and power over the rest of us. Of course I thought about that.
Well, yeah.
I didn't say laws were moral.
No.
As far as the social on the books laws, I never said that.
It's always weird. Like we covered this in past videos.
I'm saying that laws are winking and nodding at something innate.
Sure. Yeah.
At least to the public.
It's like
Maybe the guys who wrote them as well.
It's like, don't steal, don't kill. Why? Well, it's because of the law. That's the only reason why. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, let's just do that.
Yeah.
Rather than, maybe there's something that's underlying here. The group of people who agree to these to being maybe they would call them the universal law, whatever have you.
An innate sense of justice or righteousness, right? Which are, there's probably degrees to it as far as, not degrees, but levels to where it started out. It probably started out as like a deity. Like, oh, God wants me to blah, blah, blah. Someone felt inspired. It just made sense to them. It made so much sense that they thought they heard voices in their head. Like, oh, not killing is the right thing to do.
Always take in consideration that, with that specifically, right? It's, you mean the self, or a flowery representation of what they really meant,
Think of something to where
It's still fine to me as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
go over like something regarding problem solving and figure it out inside your mind, and something happens to your ego when you figure it out. Like, oh shit, I did it. I figured it out. I got it. That could almost be like, I don't know, a deity in your own mind. Like, I know this is right. Now, it could be a little tricky, but I'm just saying. Because there's some people that end up becoming like cult leaders and shit. I figured it out.
Before you know it, you're going to have a tank, just busting through your wall.
I must be Jesus.
You're on your way, kid. They're onto you. They're watching you.
I think it happened to David Icke. Something like that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Propaganda. Watch these guys save this deer. A deer stuck in fence, untangled by farmers.
That's nice.
Yeah. I might play that. James Pacino. That's funny. So.
I've been told that before.
Alright, I'm not reading that. King me. Is it not tyrannical to push your philosophy on others simply because you think it's moral? Well, wouldn't that break an innate moral code as far as infringing on someone else's freedom? So obviously you can't force people to follow a certain code.
No, you can't. Oh.
They have to find it on their own. That's why we're all about talking about self-development.
Which is why it wouldn't be such if they did, which is why I say, figuratively speaking, bring an idea to the table. Bring ideas to the table and seeing, like the end goal is obviously what, the best possible thing.
Muay Thai, Jordan, I get sexual pleasure from donuts. Fuck you. That's my only comeback I got. Fuck you. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm just playing. I really like donuts.
Yeah, you're Homer. Yeah, cool.
Hunter, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about labeling reason and logic as absolute. Reason and logic are held by the West to be absolute in the same sense as mathematics. Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah, it is.
If that's what you're saying, I agree with you. And that's what I was saying too, as in they're relative. Maybe a better word would have been subjective as far as how people look at it, but I don't like to use the word subjective in that sense. I'd rather say relative, as in logic and reason are real things. It's just relative from each person to each person. As far as when you say subjective, it almost sounds like it's a make-believe thing in your own mind somewhere. I'm like, okay, maybe the content attached to logic and reason and how you feel, maybe that's subjective, but the actual faculties of reason and logic, I believe, are real things. Some people might go as far as saying they're almost like living things, like truth.
So I think it's interesting. Tie that into the people's depiction of what the Holy Spirit. Guys, here.
Oh, I got definitions for that shit too.
No, I'm talking about people's depictions personally. It's like, oh, this is all very telling,
Yeah. See,
they might not,
yeah, go ahead.
No, it's too late.
Woo is actually like very fun, just in general. It's fun to talk about weird, crazy ideas and be like, oh, what if this, what if that. The problem is some people could just take it too far, man. You're like, you desecrate Christ. We must kill you.
You desecrate Christ.
Or whatever they say. But if it wasn't like that and people were just talking, just like, man, what if?
You desecrate Christ.
It'd probably be fucking awesome.
Like, they don't even realize they're probably like killing like the fucking reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Whatever the fuck, Or you're yelling at the next Jesus Christ, or it's just it would be so ironic, Yeah. A group of men or just people in general that claim they're doing the righteous thing, and it turns out, oh no, you guys are just stupid.
Can you start with
being simple, with that?
Right there, some.
Yeah, just pointing to that. It's not going to help me.
Ruben's comment. He tries to reverse it. It never works.
Yeah, right there. I'm like right here.
He does some of the dumbest shit ever. He's going to try to turn it on me.
That's telling.
He's going to try to turn it around.
Let me be fucking psychologically dissect you on this. That was weird. Anyway,
That has happened in reality.
What you just did was weird.
Don't let them trick you.
That was weird right
I
there.
point it out to you all the time.
Hey,
do I not?
You probably do, but the point is, what that little thing right there, that was kind of odd. Out of the ordinary.
Come at me, bro.
I'd rather read this comment.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I always have the clip to go back and look at it. So
Good. That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's all good.
Make sure you're nice and comfortable, too.
Oh, I'm fine, buddy.
Make sure you got an icy and all that shit. Nice little ice pop.
Yeah.
Nice and
I'll be real comfortable. I'll be real comfortable when I watch you cry on the floor, man. Yeah.
Make sure your feet are
You ass at that. Right. Ruben Garcia. Does that fucking say? All the BreadTube people are promoting throwing shakes to people. Oh, they're silly. They're silly people. Yeah. Wow, throwing shakes. Yeah, we're gonna get to a solution there.
It's their way because they're supposed to have this core thing at their DNA, which is like they're supposed to be anti-war and non-violent. That's where they come from as far as.
Well, it's contradicting.
They're I'd say like mainstream look at them. It's supposed to be like, oh, you're the left of anti-war and this and that. So they go with something silly like Milkshade or Flashdance or whatever the fuck they do.
Ruben Garcia, you should watch Jay Dyer, I believe his name is. He is a very horrible alt-right person, but his videos are interesting.
I know that name.
I don't remember if I heard.
Is that the movie guy? The guy who was analyzing like Stanley Kubrick and shit like that?
Don't know.
Might be. Okay. Or maybe he isn't alt-right, but Jay Dyer is still a very awful human being. Tell us why.
I'd have to see myself. Well, I have to see evidence to make me go towards that.
Jordan Fuku, James, I just witnessed a murder. He's calling you soft.
Someone's still butthurt. I'm getting fucking jumped.
Toasted Network. Random question. Do you think groin strikes would make it easier for smaller fighters to fight big fighters? Yeah, I think it would. Well,
you're close enough.
Is it only one way? I mean, I'm gonna assume that there's probably gonna be a speed advantage to the smaller guy. At least what we've seen stereotypically.
I would call it a window of opportunity. Would be different.
And they're probably going to be shorter, so they can probably punch down into the dick area. It might be a short guy advantage, or a little guy. Alright. King Me, there is no true freedom. We are all expected to follow the standards and rules of our modern society. True freedom is lawless anarchy. That's your conditioning from zombie movies. Not everyone would behave that way. Granted, I think there would be a lot of people that do that because they're fucking ignorant as well.
And it's not true freedom.
Yeah, they weren't. Yeah, it might actually be the opposite. Like, no rules, do whatever you want, and they'll just run off their conditioning. Food supply is going to disappear any day now. I need to start robbing and stealing. I can sell these TVs for a lot. Let me steal some of these.
Joker would have fun with that.
Alright, Muay Thai talking shit again. Guys, I'm far right.
Far right?
Yeah.
Right on.
That's from Muay Thai. Ruben Garcia says, yes, the movie guy is Jay Dyer. I think I watched some of his Stanley Kubrick shit, but I just, turned it off partway through.
I don't remember if I ever watched it.
He was talking about him, like, with the moon landing and shit.
Oh.
Like, whether or not Kubrick was, like, created the moon landing in a Hollywood studio somewhere.
Oh, no, dude.
Or Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
That thing.
I'm just starting to remember that fucking, the garage. It's like fucking 12 or like 2 a.m. oh. Fucking neighbor calls him. He's like, what the fuck are they doing, man?
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious. That's something I can animate one day. That's
Ruben
funny.
Garcia. Another guy that's a piece of shit but still makes interesting videos is Rocking Mr. E. It's a little sus.
A little?
Mr. E could be a chick named Mystery. Get it?
Yeah, but still.
A stripper
Why
named
you trying
Mystery.
to bunt? What's going on? We don't bunt here. Go bunting. Manny would have hit that. Pause.
Manny ain't here, okay?
Yeah, I can obviously see that. Manny would have hit that shit. Like, those lights. He would have had me. He would have had like the park to repair those. Oh, Manny would have hit that shit too. Man. Even Pujols is crying right now. What are you doing? Oh God, I think we both know what's gonna happen here. Okay. I don't want to assume otherwise.
How far do you want the home run to go?
380. Exactly.
Be patient. Be patient. Nope.
Yeah, so you went. Damn.
Mystery is a hideous, hairy man.
Oh, that's mean.
What's your beef with him, Ruben? Look, fucking pussy. Better walk me.
Watch Jones just takes the ball, throws in the stand.
Yeah, but what's your beef with him, Ruben? It feels like Margin Lisa Simpson weightlifting meme.
Why? What is this? I don't want to see
I don't
that.
know.
We'll just put up a new rule. It's like if you don't tell us what the link is, we're not going to click on it. Click on it, yeah.
Also, YouTube put up some rules about having kids in your videos.
Really?
Like if it looks off in any way, your shit gets
Wow, really?
yeah.
Oh.
Because there's all that fucking Elzagate shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I don't know what it was. I think it was like kids, like home videos and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's all these creepers and the. Why does this have like 20 million views?
20 million.
What are these guys talking about in the comment section? What's going on here?
There's people talking about stuff in the comments, and there's like, oh, did you guys see this fucking video? It's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Like that Spider-Man shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's Elzagate.
No, I meant people, not like animated bull.
That's Elzagate.
Okay.
It's all the same shit.
Okay.
It was just those guys physically performing those
Oh,
cartoons.
shit. Oh, that's weird.
It's like,
That's weird.
so, what's up with like the Spider-Man just peeing randomly?
Yeah, or the fucking like kid crying after he gets like broken
I'm like,
glass in his hand.
You watch it and it's like, there's something off. Like my stomach hurts.
Yeah.
Like off with this.
Yeah, that was definitely like
It's like, I mean, the kids aren't this like.
delicious.
No, it's like
I don't know.
kids can like the story has to make some form of sense for kids too.
Well, it's like, how do I fucking intuition tells me? How do I know? Social understanding of no. This ain't for kids. You know what I mean?
Nobody's banning you, Muay Thai. Jesus Christ.
What?
It said something about, he said, ban me, bro? What? No one's banning you until we make a second channel. Then we're banning you from this one. It's for adults only, son.
Oh yeah.
King Me, have you played RE4? Is that Resident Evil 4? I have not. I'm old school. I played Resident Evil 2. If that's the game you're talking about.
I'm playing a game from 2015.
I used Game Shark too, so I can start off with like a shotgun and a flamethrower. It was weird. I played that game when I was like in seventh, eighth grade. And I was like, fuck, this game's fucking hard. I played it as an adult on my computer, just ran through it like
I know what you mean.
no problem, just boop, done, game over. Yeah. And it's just the level of sophistication these newer games have.
I like it. You know?
Final Fantasy VII can still be difficult if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But games like Resident Evil, it's like, oh, this is patty cake. There's too many like troll ways to get around things.
I like what the fucking Fallout thing did. You know, you get to that kind of style. You know, you fucking make your own avatar. You know?
That's Muay Thai trolling. Radioactive elephant. Radioactive elephants for PS4, for PlayStation.
Yeah, they banned that game in Brazil.
Yeah.
They showed a dude with a dress on. Said, we can't take a chance. Ban it. Ban it.
Paul's and I was like, I want my own copy, though. I'll keep an eye on this.
You really think he's gay?
I'm just saying. Just saying, man.
Just saying what?
Just look at intuitive read.
I know.
I just look at him like, king of sus. The king of sus.
To me, it's like
not sus, the king of it.
I'm looking past, like, you know, as far as on the surface. Oh, he's another sniveling little shit. You know.
Yeah. I got you.
Well, that's caught. What? You doing? Oh, this?
Ah, shit. I forgot. I got you too, Matt. Let's play the rest of the clip. I think Matt has OCD. Like most of us.
Powerful forces are therefore needed in order to attempt to straighten our warped natures.
No.
One of those forces is morality, a morality of strict and uncompromising duty that opposes man's animal inclinations. A moral life is one that no rational person would, quote, wish that it should be any longer than it actually is, unquote. But one has a duty to live and develop oneself and thereby the species. Inculcating this morality in man is one of nature's forces. Another force to straighten the warped wood is political. Man is, quote, an animal that, if he lives among other members of his species, has need of a master, unquote. And that is because, quote, his selfish animal propensities induce him to exempt himself from moral rules whenever he can, unquote. Kant then...
I can see why he would say that. I can see why, but it's like if you stop there and you don't go further, but you don't understand what conditioning actually is. I need a daddy figure. Daddy, tell me what to do, please. You know, like a daddy figure. Come on, guys.
The Animus
introduced his version of Rousseau's general will. Politically, man, quote, thus requires a master who will break his self-will and force him to obey a universally valid will, unquote. However, strict moral duty and political masters are not enough. Nature has devised an additional strategy for bringing the species man to higher development. That strategy is war. As Kant wrote in his Idea for a Universal History, quote, the means that nature uses to bring about the development of all of man's capacities is the antagonism among them in society.
Now, let me correct myself. That's wrong. If that dude means war, if he's thinking what I'm thinking, I'm fucking this up. If he means war as far as, you know, people fucking dying and shit, not figuratively speaking, like war as far as a war of ideas, you know?
Yeah.
Then it's one thing, you know? But, even maybe then. This is why I'd rather have that guy sitting here. I can pick his brain instead of, oh, it says all in this book. I'm like, I don't get that much from like reading words on. It's like, to me, it's really no different than someone saying, hello.
Yeah.
I can read that like a fucking ton of ways. Hello. Or hi. How are you? It's like, are you gonna talk shit about me when I walk away? Love that sweater.
Yeah.
Fucking creep. What's her name? Mean Girls?
Regina George.
Yeah, that's it. Regina George, I believe.
It is the craziest city with like escalations to back up. Oh, escalators to back up the mountains. This is propaganda. Kingme says, do you think Ada gets wet for Leon? I thought that was Jill's job. Fuck. Ruben Garcia. Well, you know the kind of person that Black Pilled is. Jay Dyer has similar problems. As for Mr. E, he is insanely disingenuous and uses a lot of smear arguments. Also, he's hairy and ugly. Don't mentally check out propaganda. We're finishing Matt's clip first. There we go.
Unquote. Thus, conflict, antagonism, and war are good. They destroy many lives, but they are nature's way of bringing forth the higher development of man's capacities.
So he didn't mean physical war.
He didn't?
He did.
Oh, okay, he's wrong.
Yeah.
That was easy.
No, like, look how he uses conflict and look how I use the word conflict. That should be all you need to hear, as far as my perspective.
Quote, at the state of culture at which the human race still stands, Kant stated bluntly in Speculative Beginning, war is an indispensable means for bringing it to a still higher stage, unquote. Peace would be a moral disaster, so we are duty-bound not to shrink from war. Out of this self-sacrifice of individuals and the war of nations, Kant hoped.
Somewhere along the line, this dude just stopped looking.
No.
This is very
He's
telling.
like, shit. He's rushing. Like, shit. I gotta get that next book out. They're expecting it. He just makes shit
What
up.
is this guy?
The king says war is good, so
what is
war is
most
good.
famous quotes?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I've heard the name many a times. Just I usually care less about names.
I don't really look into as far as who specifically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ruben Garcia. I'm just gonna throw out random propaganda YouTubers, starting with baked Naked Ape.
Naked Ape.
A dose of Buckley.
Shit.
Guys, Muay says, guys, has Onyx Kingme been sent from the future to destroy the YouTube corporation by bringing down their YouTube channel sub-average? Maybe. Ruben says, Christy Winters. Okay, we'll check some of those out.
Not exactly subtle jabs. You know what I mean?
Let's finish up this Kant on collectivism and war. Where he's wholesale wrong, it sounds like. Maybe he got some things right, but
He's drowning
wholesale
right now.
wrong. Here we go. Good?
Well, that could be debated. You got some things right. It's like, did he?
His words sound right. How about that? Here we go.
The species would become fully developed, and an international and cosmopolitan federation of states would live peacefully and harmoniously, making possible within themselves the complete moral development of their members. Then, as Kant concluded in a 1794 essay entitled The End of All Things, men would finally be in a position to prepare themselves for the day of, quote, judgment of forgiveness or damnation by the judge of the world, unquote. This is the hidden plan of nature. It is destined to happen, so we know what we finally be in a position to, or essay entitled The End of All Things, men would finally be in a position to prepare themselves for the day of, quote, judgment of forgiveness or damnation by the judge of the world, unquote. This is the hidden plan of nature. It is destined to happen, so we know what we have to look forward to.
So we need to... This is very weird.
I know.
Because everything he explained sounded like it was without free will at all.
I find this very, like, I don't know.
So
I don't want to
it's
say...
going to lead to a judge?
I don't want to say I find this, like... As far as I find this very often, but it's weird as far as... you hear someone, like maybe their view, and they say something else, and that very thing, you know, contradicts everything else they just said.
Yeah.
Or puts it into a serious question as far as it's like, I thought you just said, you know, this is the nature of people in general. You know? Now we're talking about souls.
Maybe he's saying it has to happen rather than it will happen.
It's like, you know, whatever. Wish the dude was here. I could just ask him. Oh, crap. I walked the bases loaded. No, I walked a guy. Now the bases are loaded. That's it. Fucking god damn it. Okay.
See how loud this is.
What is this, a deer?
Looks like two deer stuck in a fence.
Of course, this dude fucking hits a change up a mile. Fucking.
Oh, those things will kill people, dude.
Nice. Oh yeah. Well, they could. Fucking running at full speed with that fucking antlers.
Oh, they would.
Oh, they would.
Yeah. Not saying always, but to get into protection mode.
That should be gone. Damn it.
Some super deer. He has to hold the antlers so his shit doesn't charge. And if you could speak deer, be like, listen, calm down. Yeah, don't fucking move near the antlers, dude.
So we get Brock Lesnar, Alistair Overeem, and Ghana just hold him down. Alright. Pick him up.
That's what the fuck you use it.
I made it.
It's like, thank you, humans. A little too much of that shit.
Alright. Now let's go hunt it. It's like, Jesus Christ. Alright, well.
I'm not so silly to be thinking in that mind state. Like, he's my friend. He's my buddy here.
Who?
I have
It was
whatever.
obviously just a joke. You fuck.
Nobody's talking. I didn't even hear what you said.
Oh, alright.
But you know, I'm going based on the music. Like, this intense music. Okay. You cut a deer from fucking barbed wire. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I always drop the fucking target.
Alright, is that it? We're gonna keep going. Jesus Christ.
Let's see.
Okay. Damn it.
Cue shitty music. Another link from propaganda.
Does it say anything?
No.
Oh, guess it won't get looked at.
Roman Garcia, look at this dishonest medical propaganda video uploaded by ZDog MD. A real doctor and Tom watch a vaccine debate. Move that.
All right.
Of course, there's a fucking Wikipedia. Alright, this is a real doctor and Tom watch a vaccine debate. ZDogMD.com. From the ZDogMD channel. Turn this volume down.
All right, Tom Heinberg, we're here today. We're going to watch this video, pro-vaccine versus anti-vaccine. Should your kids get vaccinated?
The answer is yes. We don't need a stupid video to tell us that.
Spoiler alert!
Oh, this one, huh?
Welcome to Jumanji.
My name is David Epstein, and I'm a pediatric intensive care physician.
I'm Bob Sears. I'm a pediatrician. I guess my greatest passion is just to help encourage full, complete, informed consent.
Informed consent, just so you know, is code for we think vaccines cause autism.
He has the voice that they all have. Even though he's a man.
What voice is that?
The thing about vaccines is I just feel like by trade I am a designer.
Wow, that was funny.
I am
Who are these fucking guys?
activist and a mother.
They're doctors?
Go back.
By trade I'm a small batch. Vaccines and I just feel like by trade I am a designer. I am also an activist and a mother. By trade I'm a small batch hand-sewn sauerkraut artisan.
Also, vaccines cause cancer.
Melissa Floyd, and by trade, I'm a full-time Googler.
This conversation can be open for people and continue to inform people and to listen to everyone and understand why we each come to our opinion on this.
This is something that idiots and charlatans both use, which is like the open-minded argument. Like,
Yeah.
you're not open-minded enough, right? And it's like, hey, Z, how come you're not open-minded to rape as a mating strategy? You know, historically, it was a very successful mating strategy for males in our species.
You know, there's
your great-great-great-great-grandfather probably raped. How come you won't rape women? Are you just not open-minded enough?
I guess there are two sides to the rape debate, Tom. That
Oh,
why don't we
that's
just put a
nothing to do
line
with
in the
this at
middle?
all.
The pro-rape.
I just want you to hear me out about my views on rape.
I'm also a full-time rapist, which means I rap professionally
suck.
and hate vaccines.
Well, by trade, I am a rhino gynecologist, aka a rhinocologist.
Did they run out of avenues? It's like, oh, I'll shame them into going on my side. Is that what it is?
Like
I don't know shit about. I haven't investigated vaccine things for it or against it. I know very, very little. But this seems like, I don't know, shaming someone into.
Yep.
I don't know. Let's watch the downhill. That was dangerous as fuck. But yeah, the music makes it over. Oh, yeah. It should have been banjos. It should have just been no music. Just someone like, holy shit, this happens in life. Hey, just take that music and play it when like a lion's on the hunt in like Africa somewhere. What kind of nuts are you eating? Peanuts. Planters.
Yeah, okay.
Propaganda dropping too many links. I said my link was a downhill biker through a city. Ruben Garcia, the founder of Wikipedia, is down with the IDF. So is Wonder Woman, apparently. Why can't we watch sports everyone likes? Motherfucker.
Because people want money.
Propaganda tried to blame the shootings at the Toronto parade thing on sports.
Oh, how so?
Oh.
You don't know?
I think he's joking, but whatever.
Kind of. I mean, maybe it's attempted a joke, but I'd have to get more context. I don't. It's like, oh.
I think it's just Canadians, you know, dying to be American. They shoot at each other over there.
Goes
right?
nowhere.
We need to copy this. We struggle in Canada too, man. On my album. Fuck. You guys are two guys watching two guys who are watching a YouTube video.
Two guys.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, man. They have the aesthetics as far as probably the setup, a studio, the computer, the second camera that's behind them that I probably can't fucking afford no matter what I sell as far as what's in my possession right now. Well, no, probably not, no. So, yeah. Well, no, not legally. And yet, their content, as far as when I got that those 2 minutes, it's like, oh, that's why it's bad? The whole debate about vaccines or people who are criticizing it? Oh, it's silly jokes and a comparison, making silly comparisons to an argument. Yeah, that's why it's bad. Yeah, rape. Like, guys, if you're trying to be funny, I get it, but it's like, if you're actually trying to make a legitimate comparison as far as an argument that seems silly, like, don't pull a Crowder, or you're saying, what do you call it? Was Medicare for all, right? You go into some sort of like, you go to a hospital or a doctor's office. Oh, my friend bruised his elbow. Like, is he dying? Is he bleeding to death? He can wait.
Yeah.
See how long that took? It's like, wow, dude, you little fucking sniveling shit.
Ruben Garcia. The skeptic community are psychopathic soy boys. Propaganda, skateboarding and biking, snowmobiling, dirt biking. He's talking about sports everyone likes, or something.
Or sports that you like.
Yeah. I might like those too, though.
I like them, but I'm not going to say everyone likes them.
Ruben Garcia. Future Dr. Pizzas support mandatory vaccines. Sam Harris approves. Yeah, you ever hear somebody talk about something and they just have no meaning behind it at all? It just bothers me. Like, do you care about this? Why am I watching you?
Well, I watch to make sure I have an idea of what they're saying, because they have a platform.
And I don't mean they have to be yelling and shit. I mean, like, oh, you go through a detailed thing here. Like, I don't know. It's a smell, intuitive smell. Propaganda. I was joking. I said the USA made Canada violent. You're probably right. We wouldn't even play basketball if it wasn't for the NBA. I don't know about that. You guys have hockey, and we still don't give a shit about hockey. Or do we? It's in pockets.
There's core groups out there, man.
It's in pockets. Marin Anguish. It's 4 guys now. Oh, you were talking about them. My bad. I just joined. You're late to the party.
You could probably say that for soccer.
Hockey's like I'm cool, like type thing. Unless you're a fan of the fucking sport. Otherwise, you're just
cool.
I'm cool as in like I'm cool and smart. That's what hockey is now.
I don't know. I wouldn't fucking know.
It's like yeah, I'm an intellectual, but I like sports. But I like this one that not a lot of other people like too. So it's like
I don't know how you read that.
I'm like against the grain. Go check it out, son.
I don't know about that.
Go check it. I'm against the grain. I like hockey.
Where'd you get this from?
I don't like the NFL. I like hockey. Trust me, son.
Whatever.
Muay Thai, you're the only racist here, you fuckboy. Whatever.
That 7th.
I want to show you boys the cities as propaganda. The NHL is an American franchise. Duh. But we just saw it as a money opportunity.
Yeah, sure.
Just make shit up as I go.
I could see that.
Ruben Garcia, this is probably the best video I've seen about the problems with vaccines. Let's watch Downhill, guys. This is propaganda. Ruben. Oops, forgot the link. We're caught in the rabbit hole of YouTube.
This one's going to be a home run.
You sure?
Yeah.
Ben Swan. I'll definitely check that out.
Told you.
I don't even see where it is.
It's a home run. Oh, are you serious?
Ah, you liar. You liar.
Remember that one time where... Oh, no, they did not. Oh, come on. Let's see.
That's foul.
Christ, they changed it.
Middle left turn.
Look at that. Look. Can you see that or you can't see? Like, can you actually see that? That ball right there? Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you see that? They cheated. Oh, dude, look at that. Look at that. See how it drastically starts taking a different direction now? Fucking... God damn it. Alright.
Just completely tapped out on Tim Pool and Vincent James.
Well, hey, I mean...
Someday, we will dedicate a full stream to those two. Or probably just one of them, because... You know. Who's this from?
You know what? What?
Because they both have enough content of silly shit they've said to where they can take up their own time slot. What the freak is this video?
You can just go to the guy's channel and then find it there. Probably way fast. There it is. No, it's not. Is it?
Yeah, this looks like the same video.
It's not.
Not all.
Yeah, it is.
How do you know?
Look at their outfits.
So?
What is he, fucking Doug? He just wears the same outfit every day.
You're telling me there's nobody on YouTube that wears the same fucking thing in multiple videos?
It's Ben Swan, though.
You sure?
I'm sure that's Ben Swan.
No, whatever. Never mind.
I bet it's the same video.
Okay.
Jordan, do you honestly think I'm a racist? No, I think you're a silly person. You're faking it till you make it. As soon as I see you on the nightly news with a fucking tiki torch, I know what time it is.
A tiki torch with her hair parted. You're the only one that looks angry. And everyone else is like, hey, you got a text to come here, you know? That one dude has like an objective why he's there. Everyone else is like, huh, I heard there's a get together tonight.
The downhill is short. We'll play it at the end, propaganda. Ruben Garcia, Ben Swan is great. I like Ben Swan. He's one of those guys I discovered in the whole, the Trump phenomenon. Propaganda. Ben Swan got his platform taken away. So sad. Yeah. Well, he did, really polished type of work. As far as the way it was presented, it was very polished, very newsy looking, and that has stuff like that has a chance to be super, super duper popular. And they're only 5-minute clips at a time.
No, that's like a strategic way of getting more content out with least amount of time.
Well, he was a newsman originally, so imagine a newsman doing newsman shit, but telling you better information, more detailed information.
Compacted into a smaller video.
Yeah. He's very good at it. At least him or his writers or whatever.
I'm just pointing out
I'm oh wow, this makes me want to research this more. It's done like that type of way. I think he got his only interview with Obama. I think the question he asked him was why are we funding rebels in Syria? And that was one of the questions he asked him. So, very interesting guy. Even looks like typical news, sounds like typical news. The way he talks, style. Imagine a guy like that telling you actual shit.
Mm-hmm.
That is all interesting to me. Ruben Garcia, the pro-Israel founder of Wikipedia, used to be involved in the porn industry before making Wikipedia. That's interesting. So was Jared from Subway. I'm just throwing that out there. Ah, that's interesting. I can see where you're going though with the Israel thing. And honestly, I don't know. Maybe it is all connected like that, but I honestly do not know. And I'm not willing to go there for the sake of, group identification. I'm very, very sure that there are groups in Israel we do not hear about that are fighting our government.
From the videos I
tooth
saw,
and nail.
there are.
And they're like, fuck this government.
That's
Just like there's people here. Of any type of religion, race, or whatever. There's savages everywhere.
Misrepresentation.
Yeah,
just say
savages
that.
all over.
Just say that, because I think it's pretty obvious. It's like, yeah, they don't all feel that way. Oh, really?
So.
And these idiots out there say the Jews or whatever. It's like, guys, yeah, that's irresponsible.
Yeah.
That's why I can't get behind Adam Green. Like, dude, you're too vague with these things, Say you got to be very specific. That way you leave no room. No room.
Yeah.
You're shooting yourself in the foot, Why not be the super credible guy? Be the super credible guy who leaves no room for anybody to have some sort of argument. And if they do, like Ben Shapiro, who will create content, that way he can put that on a pedestal, and he can run over to the other side and then make an argument out of it. It's like a make believe land, It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, so that way he's able to say shit.
All right, I got you.
Dude has to create an idea of someone being a self-hating Jew for it to make sense why they're criticizing the Israeli government. That makes complete sense.
They hide these fucking vaccine videos.
Just take a look at what's his name?
Oh, I'll just go to our fucking chat and look it up.
What's his name?
Motherfucker.
What the fuck's his name, dude? Fucking the dude with the cat.
Let's go to our chat.
What's his name? YouTuber with a cat. I don't remember. Doshi something. Don't remember. Oh well. He had a Vax video and shit did not go well. I am in space.
Not all vaccines are safe for all people at all ages.
Whatever. I'll just play the Ben Swan shit. 'Cause I'm lazy. Motherfucker. Come on. You can do it. Ah, dude, it's 30 minutes long, so I'll play the Ben Swan if you want.
Not Not all vaccines are safe for all people, at all ages, in all quantities. Full stop. There is no question that scientifically and medically that statement can be proven with ample evidence. In fact, U.S. taxpayers have compensated the families of vaccine-injured children to the tune of $4 billion in just the past 30 years. But unfortunately, even a statement as common sense as that is treated by many online as dangerous. And now, tech companies like Facebook and Google, they have taken the stand to help purge the world of what they call vaccine denial. So, does that action make our society or world a safer place? No. Let's give it a reality check.
Reality check with Ben Swan.
Of what they call false. Well, last week, a Senate panel warned lawmakers about the dangers of what they call false information about vaccines and called for a national campaign similar to the one against smoking to counter what they call the public health threat posed by anti-vaccine groups. Yes, the claim is that there is a public health threat because parents across the U.S. and frankly around the world believe that not all vaccines are safe for their kids.
What?
Where did you leave off?
Never mind. Jesus, I'm lost. I'm just gonna go here. Jared Fogle was involved in the porn industry too. Nah, probably not. I think he sold porn or he was in college or something. A friend told me that way before. Yeah, way before it came out. He was like using like child porn or something, or selling child porn. Nice game. I'm not reading that propaganda. Ruben Garcia says Mordecai Vanunu and the Demona leaks helped save possible, even billions of lives. Help save billions of lives. Share your nuts with James. Ruben Garcia. So despite that, despite what I seem, I actually do agree with the two of you. Lift the Veil, John Rappaport, except he's not a YouTuber. Propaganda, you homeless, but oh, okay. Gotcha, Ruben. You don't have to watch the videos I show you right now. You can watch them after. Watch them after or later. Just suggestions to get ideas from. Hell yeah. Oh. Dude, you got my Twitter. Alright? Fucking DM me shit. Propaganda does it all the time. I don't even like him. Propaganda, I hate the trend of people saying full stop. Full stop. Hate it. Alright, it's late. I'm tired. And hungry. But I will leave you guys with something special. Let's see if I can find it. That one I got saved. on, this dude probably copyrights his shit. Is this a BMX guy or something? Dude, if you have advertisements in your fucking, like, screenshot picture, you're just wearing a monster hat. It's like, fuck that.
It all depends.
I don't want to get copyrighted, so... Vaccines are just like most every drug. We need them, but they can be overused or have bad regulatory oversight. Jules Stein fought to get some bad chemicals out that didn't need to be used. It was for cost. Downhill bike run. It's not yours, son. You send me someone else's shit. Whatever. That's it from us. I'm fucking tired. I can't even talk. You can play it if you're not making money. I don't know if he's gonna be like, this is my downhill ride. Yeah. I'll watch it first and I'll play it for everyone next time. How about that? Alright, that's it from us. Please subscribe if you like. Comment, agree, disagree. I don't know what there would be to agree or disagree with in this video. But, yeah. Donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is down there in the description box. Website in the intro to this video. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get him.